Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah. We're not in the 30s yet, but we're plunging rapidly.
Oh man, I haven't opened
That's
the
why
door
I'm in the
to check.
porch and not on the back. That's why I'm in the garage and not the back porch.
It's
Nice.
chilly, but that's about it.
How's it going to feel next week when we're in Waco? I believe that's already next week.
Is it next week already? Whoa, it is.
Well, pretty
Yes,
much
it is.
next week, yeah.
Yeah, dang. I thought we had more time.
Because
Crazy.
1 week from today is the first of the next week.
Yeah, man. Well, as long as I was thinking about that, as long as it's not sleeting or anything, that'd be pretty terrible if it did.
The forecast for Grand Lodge looks like highs in the low 60s, upper 50s. That says the highs and lows are going to be in the 40s, and a very minimal chance of rain.
Yeah, I'm not
That's not
looking
too
forward
bad,
to
then.
next week. I'm not looking forward to this week or next week, really, to be honest with you. Well, I'm super stoked about next week, but you know what I'm saying.
You don't like the cold, Dennis?
No, I do not.
Does it hurt you?
Well, explain it to us for those of us who don't understand what you're saying. Dennis, break it down.
He doesn't like to work in the cold, just like the rest of those guys that work out in the field.
Right. And for me, my bones hurt. I mean, for me it's a big deal to get out of bed in the morning. So when it gets cold, it gets even worse. Don't you laugh at me, Brad.
Well, I'm totally laughing at you, you young whippersnapper.
Yeah, but I'm not as young as you think I am, and I'm still doing stupid shit like working out in the weather. It's
Brad's going to be looking forward to going to those attics and working on things because it's warmer.
I know. Well, not really, because their heater doesn't.
Yeah. Well, this is the first year that I've deer hunted where I got a deer and I just got to hang it outside and didn't have to put it in a cooler to keep it cold.
Yeah.
Nice.
Excuse me. Hey, I saw that you're going to the OLT in next month. Brad.
Yeah, I was interested in it. I'm not even going to be an officer or anything next year, but I might go to support the next worshipful master from my lodge to be a layer along with him and try to help him. He's actually getting kind of excited, and it's making me happy seeing him. Something happening, like something brewing in him. I'm like, hey, yeah, finally, man, somebody actually step up and want to do something. So
it's good, man.
Yeah, it's good. Happy about that.
Jason knows that feeling. We had a long talk today, but we won't bring that up here. But
yeah, just as a side note, I'll have to double check those settings that we were talking about because I do see where you are talking about, and I have the buttons under actions, and it's just view your membership details. So maybe one of those options.
On mine also it shows donate and view membership.
All right, man, I was so excited. I'll have to check it out.
Grandview probably not set right, but that's where, because I know Victoria doesn't have any of that stuff, but my other two lodges do. So
well, the entire options is weird too. It's like, do you not want to have it off? Like when you, it's not like, do you want online? Like, is it? Do you want? Like normally, if you would make something like that, it'd be like online payments on off, something like that. But it's like, do you not want online payments off or something like that?
How was that difficult? It was the easiest thing I have ever done with any Masonic lodge. Well, that was the easiest thing.
I was sitting
by far
in the secretary's office on his computer with him talking here, another guy talking here. Yeah.
It's still the easiest process I have ever had in Freemasonry.
Well, that's saying a lot, man.
That is.
I wouldn't go that far.
The only tougher decision than that was putting on underwear on my first degree. That was it, man.
Man, why are you being so judgmental today?
So, where are y'all seeing to add a donation option because I mean activated the online payment last year for Guadalupe Lodge for dues, and I see that you guys are getting an option where somebody can just donate.
Well, he's getting the option. I didn't see it, but I was also kind of being razzled.
Yeah, here, I'll pull up Grandview on my computer real quick and I can help you.
You're not like some kind of beta tester, are you?
Now I feel like I'm behind. Like, how's Dennis finding this and I'm
Well,
not?
that's kind of what I was thinking. Like,
yes. I did it without a spreadsheet.
wow. So who all, while he's pulling it up, who all in this Zoom was at the dinner last year? Jason?
I was. Yeah.
Was anybody else? Okay.
And then I skedaddled out of town as quick as I could.
Didn't you wear a kilt last year? Or
No.
am I thinking about, what did you wore something?
No, he was talking about wearing a kilt this year.
Maybe
Or
I'm
no,
thinking
that
about the summit.
That was Byron that was talking about.
Oh yeah, and I've got a nice black kilt too.
Dress kilt?
Yeah, well, I don't know about dress kilt. It's black.
No, it's a the black ones are considered damn it.
A funeral kilt?
No, they're considered they're functional kilts. What's the word I'm looking for?
Tactical kilt?
The
Byron said it before.
the brand
Byron
of
said
mine.
it before.
Mine is the brand name is Utilikilt.
That's what it is. It's a utility kilt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
One,
mine's got pockets and stuff. I can literally, I can carry stuff, like not just a little bit of stuff. Just for grins one day, I stuffed an entire case of beer into the pockets on this kilt.
Now that's what you wear in lodge.
Rattling when you walk.
But they are cool looking though. I thought about buying one myself because I like the black look. I'm a
I can't
black
say
on black
enough
kind
good
of guy.
things about it. It is a seriously durable garment, and without a doubt, the most comfortable thing I own.
Huh.
Yeah, they're pretty comfortable.
You know, and speaking of kilts and all that kind of stuff, Bo, I could say congratulations to Dennis Yates on his election as the chief of the Knights of St. Andrew for this San Antonio Scottish Rite.
Good job, Dennis. You really killed it.
Thank you.
And he
You
does
might
actually,
wanna-
and he does actually have a kilt as well. So-
I do. In fact, when I was originally elected to an officer position, I decided at that point that I would purchase a kilt so that for me, for the Knights of St. Andrew, that embodies the idea of formal for the Knights of St. Andrew. Now, kilts are not necessary for the Scottish Rite. Technically, they're French degrees that, so it's not, Scottish by nature, but, Knights of St. Andrew is a Scottish, St. Andrew is a Scottish saint, and it is a Scottish order, and so it makes sense to do it right. And so that's why I did that. So thank you, Jason, for that. I appreciate that. Let's wait and see how you feel about me at the end of the year.
So did you find what you're looking for, Dennis? Your options?
Yeah, so I went to right now where I am is I went to the dollar sign to the accounting side of things.
Okay.
And then
because you had to enable it under the settings, right? I think that's where I saw it.
Maybe.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
I don't know that I did enable it in the settings. I think I enabled it in I enabled it in the online payments, I think.
Okay.
Dang it. I'll find it. Let me look and see.
It's all good.
Because you may be right. It may have been in there in the settings. And if that's the case, then I can't see it either in the settings, and it doesn't make sense that you wouldn't be able to go back and change anything.
Yeah. Well, and I did this back before they went to 2.0. So I wonder if it's something they're going to have to go back and re-enable accepting donations, which maybe none of my members have actually paid their dues online through Grandview. So it's kind of like, yeah, I could I could have that option. Nobody's gonna use it, but he was just
Hey, do you have to enable ACH to receive disbursements for online payments? Because I thought you said it was a check.
Yes.
That's the way that they prefer to do it.
So is that maybe why the setting's not showing up then?
No, mine is set up. My ABA routing number and all that is set up.
Oh, you mean for you, Justin, why it's not showing up on your end?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe you do actually have to have the ACH setting set up in order to receive online payments.
Well, it asks you to set that up afterwards.
Right.
But after you enable it, then it asks you to set up the ACH.
Right, but because he hasn't done that second step, that may be why that option is not showing up for his members.
Maybe not.
Right.
That
right.
Could be it.
Yeah.
I just looked at Goliath stuff, and that ACH stuff is set up with the routing number and everything on there.
Okay, that might be it then. See, this is such a useful podcast. such a useful show.
Everybody in all the other countries that don't have, Grandview, then they won't know what we're talking about. But well, it is actually good because we're talking about something that 98%. Or not 98, 96% of the states, the grand jurisdictions in the United States are on Grandview. So this is helpful to other grand jurisdictions as well, because Grandview is a blanket system. It's only unique with its members.
Yeah.
And oh gosh, what are they called? The different options that are allowed in the service based off of whatever their Grand Lodge chooses, because there's a lot of different options in Grandview that are chosen and not chosen. Some are basic and everybody gets that, but then there's add-ons that you can purchase with your subscription. Mm-hmm. That allow different things to happen. That's why it's been built upon as we went with Grandview, because they waited until, to get established and get used to doing things before they added new stuff.
All right, well, I added the ACH info and it's still not showing up for me, but oh well. We'll get it. I'll look on the secretary side again Tuesday.
We are Grandview. You will be assimilated.
So, as a side note, I may not make the Fort Worth training, but I'm definitely going to go to the Waco one if I don't, because that's also close by. It's about the same distance for me. So, just if I don't see you there, Brad, it's probably because I went to Waco. But we'll see. What else did
I believe in officer leadership training, just so that people know before we jump off back onto the well, we can talk about it afterwards.
Well, I mean, it's no, I mean,
so we can jump onto. Well, no, I know
I'm not an officer.
In it too.
I'm not an officer,
right?
But I believe it's important to support. As much as we talk about it, I feel like we should be supportive of it also, if that makes sense. And regardless of if you're going to be an officer, you should still go to training. And here's why. And it goes back to what we talked about in our last episode. Am I consuming or producing? Right? If your mentality is, I don't want to go to officer leadership training because it doesn't benefit me, I'm not going to be an officer, then you need to reevaluate that. Because officer leadership training benefits the lodge, regardless if you are an officer or not.
Yes.
So I got an interesting question along those lines. So I've been through all 101, 201, 301 OLTs. I'm currently a worship master now and will be worship master next year and the following year, tradition prevailing.
Wow.
I 100% agree that OLT is a definite need and everyone should attend. But as a person who's already been through all three, what time frame would you recommend someone going back through OLT and that you're not getting the same information regurgitated that you've already heard?
I would give it about 3 years, because that's the time frame that I've personally seen in 2 separate instances that information has changed in OLT. But I go anyways because I like there's always nuggets that I catch that I didn't catch before.
Yeah. I would say, first of all, I don't think it's very similar, because I know the year me and Dennis provided some presentations that you never got again after that.
Right.
I would say this. There is so much information at any one OLT that is like drinking water from a fire hose. And it is impossible to retain everything you learn by the time that day's over. And so I would say, obviously if you've never gone to OLT, start at 101, 201, 301. And honestly, by the time you finish 301, Dennis says 3 years. I think you could probably go ahead and go back through 101.
101, yeah. Right. So that makes sense. Yes, correct.
Because it's enough time for it to have evolved a little bit. You're not going to remember everything you learned from 101 by that point. And so there will be refreshers, but also there's those things that you just didn't catch the first time. And so I think it's lather, rinse, repeat, and just work your way through it. And if they do offer a 401 or something, 401, even when they had it, that wasn't like an all-day thing. It was like an optional.
You're talking about 301.
Was it
301?
No, what was the thing you and I did?
That's 301. Yeah, there's 101 and 201, which is junior warden, senior warden traditionally. And then because you're preparing to be a master, you don't have a master's deal. And then the 301 is just the added support for the lodge, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, the 101 and 201 is the basics, and then the 301 was the added support module that we created. Okay. We created that year.
I stand corrected. Well,
okay, so asking as someone who has been to none of them, what kind of cost and time are we looking at?
It's a weekend long thing. Starts Friday night, usually 5 p.m. and then lasts. If they still do it this way, then sometimes they finish it up on Saturday evenings and give out certificates Saturday evening. Mm-hmm. But then, back in the day, we used to go into Sunday morning. We would have a Sunday morning devotional and have breakfast with the Grand Master and then do the certificates and go home. It was Sunday morning was more of a fluff morning. It was enjoyable and, just kind of a wrap up to the weekend. But now I think they try to get everybody out by Saturday so that people don't feel like they're losing the whole weekend.
Yeah, the last one I went to, Byron, the OLT, when I went to OLT in Tyler back in 23, we were done 3:30, 4 o'clock. They were handing out certificates and you were done on Saturday. So it's mainly just Friday, Saturday.
And it also depends on the area too.
Yeah,
if it's a huge one, sometimes it takes.
There was 3 of us that went from Goliad to Tyler because we heard that 301 was not going to happen the following year. Had we known that it was going to continue, we may not have made the trip to Tyler. But
my goodness.
Yeah, so we went to Tyler. And I know here in
that's
Goliad,
a fun trip though.
Yeah,
it was a fun trip. We enjoyed it thoroughly. But unlike our lodge reimburses you for the payment for the $250 for OLT.
Yeah.
So that's cover it.
That's something that's important. So the cost is $250, and I would say this: if you are an officer in your lodge, and I'm talking about like warden or master, like the worship master, the lodge should cover that cost. That is a firm opinion I have.
We believe in the senior deacon, junior warden, and senior warden, because those are your 3 times to get it done before you become master, because you should be done with all of it before you become master.
That's a good point.
So those are the times you should be focused on.
I can get behind
But
that too.
like you can go as a junior warden and we pay for it, and then go as a senior warden and we pay for it too, and then we also pay for the junior warden. So we give out 2 every year in Goliad to go, and so it's
I do still feel, though, I agree with the senior deacon doing it. That makes sense. I do still feel like the worship master should, though. And even if they're doing like you said, and they've done 301 by the time before they go to the east, you're the leader of the lodge, and you should be the example to everybody. And if you want to say that education is important, then the worship master should go too, I think.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be, but shouldn't you plan on going to 101 when you're a senior deacon?
yes.
And so if you're going to do 301, you should be senior warden by then.
Correct. And so that way you are prepared to be master. Master, I don't think it's not the job of the master to do everything in the lodge. It's the job of the master to make sure that things get done in the lodge. So in my opinion, once you go through 101 through 301 prior to becoming master, your job is to make sure that that's still available for the people that are going up in the line behind you. I don't necessarily believe that you should, because for us with our lodge, it's a requirement. Because we pay for it, it's a requirement.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're saying, well, if you feel like it, just go ahead, otherwise, that's okay. It's a requirement because we're investing in our lodge.
Yeah.
And so, the master doesn't need to, hold anybody's hand to get there. It's a matter of, if you want that chair, if you think you deserve to lead this lodge, then you should be the leader and do it on your own.
Not to change the subject too much, but there is a resolution that we'll be looking at next week involving the price of officership leadership
next
training.
Week.
And so I wonder if that price might change
after
if the resolution passes.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying $250. That's
worth considering. Prices. But I'm also, you guys know that I'm in kind of an oddball situation. I'm not a member of a lodge here. I'm endowed and a past master, but part of my goals is to, figure out which lodge I really want to be in this area, and and move back through the line again. I got the best learning, the best camaraderie, the best fellowship all came through, during my time, serving in Brady's officer line. And, I look to recreate that with the lodge in the Waco area. Excuse me. But I'm a past master now. And I'm like, okay, do I need to, come up with $250 out of my own pocket? Because I'm not going to ask another lodge to put a past master through OLT.
Hey, Justin, did you see that message?
I missed it.
Pay attention. Go ahead. You're okay. You keep talking. Justin needs to get his.
That's never happened before. That's weird. Okay. Let me see how I can fix it.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Anyway, so, that in a nutshell is my question. Is it worth my time and effort as a past master to go back through 101, 102, or 101, 201, 301?
I think it is. Because we're starting to change and evolve within the culture of our lodges. And you're also moving into an area, or you have moved into an area that it's a little less rural, I would say. Mm-hmm. Not a whole lot less rural, but it's a little less rural.
Yeah, it is. It's a whole lot less rural.
So you got people who are
multiple Walmarts.
Right.
What?
You not only have a Walmart, but you have 2 or 3 of them.
I have
Yes.
2
So-
within 15
Is that how you
miles,
measure how fancy your town is? We got
That's
2
how-
Walmarts.
Measure. Yes.
and a Chick-fil-A.
I guess I'm gonna play stupid, Byron. I don't know where you moved to.
I moved to Waco.
Oh, well, you got a couple Walmarts. You head up to Bell Mead. You got plenty of stuff.
Yeah, I got Belmead and Hewitt to choose from there. I've got the Chick-fil-A and in Belmead. I got I think there's 4 or 5 Whataburgers in this town.
That big fancy Walmart right there, HEB off of Bell Mead. I can remember it was nothing. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm in a new area, and I feel like if I'm going to move and shake, as it were, I don't see how this is going to hurt me in that regard, going to OLT.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to make sure I realize something out of it. Does that make sense?
Oh, you'll get value out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that with today's technology and everything that's changing as much as it is definitely beneficial, because you're going to learn new ways of doing things. Not just learning new ways of doing things within all the systems and all that kind of stuff, but you're going to meet how do I put this? Really, at this point, almost like a new generation of young masters that are coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll have that support group. You'll build that camaraderie with them as well that will help support you in going through, so that you'll have fresh ideas with the times per se.
Well,
Because-
that's the other thing. OLT is a lot of networking too. I mean, not just with the guys that are putting it on, but just sitting there talking to guys about what they're doing at their lodge is working and what's not working, and sharing ideas, and just, basically breaking bread and talking about masonry for a whole 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Which is never a bad thing.
Right. Yes. I agree too.
Well, let's if everyone's good with it, let's shift away from OLT for a minute, because I want to be sure.
Do you have us on?
Yeah,
you have us on live?
I fixed it.
Oh, okay.
We
Oh,
were live,
okay.
but no, the privacy was members.
I know.
And
I know.
I had never changed it. There was no reason I would have, unless I just was clicking through things one day. I did notice the last few broadcasts were kind of quiet. It's like, why is nobody watching our lives now? So I got it fixed.
My gosh.
Well, they still get saved as public, but
Let's advertise to our little group here about everything we're doing.
It was
Let's
a Zoom
make sure and
inside a
mark
Zoom.
it.
Right to all 7 guys.
Whoops.
Yeah. Oh my
Anyway.
God.
Anyway, I want to talk about the dinner last year. So the only ones that are in the Zoom now that were at the dinner are myself, Dennis, and Jason. But I want to talk it up. We're not talking about specific things that were discussed or specific people, but just talking about the dinner itself, because as Dennis has said, we and I know what's happening, because we had the same thing with the summit. When we hosted the summit, we kind of were biting our nails until the last minute, and then boom, 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 like the week before. It wasn't even the week before, was it? It was like 3 days.
It was like 3 days.
Before the summit, it blew up, and everybody suddenly
It's like, man,
whew,
the effort. I know, you put me through all this stress.
But the point is, the way we have it set up this month for this dinner is you pay in advance. That way, it makes it easier for the restaurant staff. They have an idea of what they're preparing for and what they're getting and things like that. And we're trying to avoid all these last minute jump ins. We want to, because we're not the only ones biting our nails. Probably the restaurant staff too, because they have a large room reserved for us and all these promises like the bar and everything. And they might be wondering, okay, well, is this kind of a bad idea for us? And I know the day of, like I said, we'll have the people, but we need to. I wanted to talk about how much we enjoyed it last year.
Well, see, here's the thing: is that we won't have the people, because I am going to cut it off and not allow people to
When are you going
to
do
jump
that?
in at the last minute.
Yeah, I
It's
was
gonna
going to
be
say,
in the
isn't the cutoff date on the 8th?
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was going to be on. Well, I may do a couple days later. I may go ahead and take it into this weekend because there were a few people that were confused on how to get things done and all that.
Mhm.
But I am definitely doing a cutoff because what people don't realize, if you get a big venue like this, if you've never, hell, a lot of Texas has never eaten in a restaurant that is this kind of a venue, right? And much less secured a room that can go from 50 to 250 people and have your own bar, have your own wait staff, have your own everything, catering to you, hand over. So people don't realize that if you don't fill the seats that you say you're going to fill, then that comes out of our. And this company has said, look, because we don't, because we appreciate your business and we want you to come back, we're not going to charge you the 10% additional that we would normally charge for people paying at the venue. Well, we did that last year, and everybody paid for their own meal. And 55 people, it was a mess. And
I remember that.
The wait staff did great. I mean, they did great, but our people, it's just chaos with that many people. And so
we had visited the Resolution Bar quite a few times, but before we got our checks, so like I like whose check is this? I don't know. It was right.
I know. So there was just. But anyways, that being said, they said, well, hey, let's do this, and we're not gonna charge you that 10% still, and we are going to work just like Eventbrite. So I say just like. Well, in essence, it's just like. Yeah,
conceptually, it's just like it, but yeah, financially much better.
So you reach out to them, they send you a link, you go in, you pay for your meal. No additional fees in doing that. No $7 upcharge on top of your, meal that's already, quite costly, to be frank. And everybody's happy. They have their money, including gratuities. Everything's done. All they have to do is come and get your order and serve you exactly what you want. That's all they got to do when you walk in the door, besides serve you alcohol as you purchase your alcohol separate. That's the only tab they have to take care of, and they'll do it just like the regular bar where they, start a tab for you, whatever. So this restaurant has worked with us like no other. This is a first for them, and they're doing this for us. And people are dragging their feet, and it's just like, God, how much easier can we make it? I mean, I just don't get it. I don't understand, especially with people that said they wanted to go, and then we do all this. We set up the venue, we create the way to do it, and then they don't do it. It just never ceases to amaze me.
They will.
I think the one thing that might help, because there's like one additional step that I think kind of has thrown people off is, what would make it easier is if you just didn't require people to pay for it, and then they could just come and just get a free dinner.
Oh,
that would make it
free dinner. Yeah. That would you'd probably have them lined up at Grand Lodge for a free dinner at Diamondbacks, I'm sure.
It's that payment step that just seems to man, I guess.
I know it's
so hard.
To be fair, there were people last year that said they wanted to come until they pulled up the venue and saw the price, and then they like, oh, that's not Chick-fil-A price. I'll just go somewhere else, and then they missed out. That's what happened. They missed out because it was.
And to be fair, I mean, I'm looking at the weekend, and I did recently find out my lodge will pay for one night. But I mean, I'm going to be there Thursday, Friday. I think I'm staying through Saturday night. I can't remember stuff. So, you figure,
if you are, let's have a drink because I am.
What's that?
If you are, let's get together Saturday night because I am.
Okay.
I'll be there Saturday too. I'm just saying.
Let me look at my calendar. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, I see how you are. Okay,
Wow.
Josh, you and I will get together. Josh, you and I will get together.
That sounds good. On the dinner, I would love to go, but my wife is going with me. So, and there's so many times that I have to say that, hey, I've got to go do this, and you've got to go somewhere else. So, when we go up there, I try to make it where she's involved as well. So, if she wasn't going with me, it wouldn't be nearly as much fun. But since she's going, that's one of the reasons why I'm not going to go to dinner. So that way we have something to do on Thursday with her, because we're going to be in Grand Lodge all day Friday, a good chunk of Saturday, and all that kind of stuff. So that's the reason I'm not planning on attending, but I never said that I was going to go either. So.
Right. Well, and to be fair, if you're taking your wife, and that's a thing for many brothers. I mean, for years, Lavinia went with me, and they still go, but they show up for one night and then move on to Dallas. They just stop by on their way to Dallas because
where all the real fun is.
Right. Well, because they have Sarah has her competitions and stuff, so they usually just pass through. But anyways, before that, I would always take Lavinia to the Grandmaster's banquet. And so you may want to go ahead and do that and take her, get fancied up with her and take her to the banquet. That's a good thing to do with your wife.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, I mean,
I'll make sure and tell her that too, that you're going to take her to the banquet. So just I'll help you out.
My wife is simple. She'd rather do the pub crawl than go to the banquet.
I know that will be a good time. That will be a good time.
I mean, our plans are to hit the Newberry Hospitality Room and then do the pub crawl and then go find somewhere else to have a good chocolate martini somewhere.
Nice.
Chocolate.
Well, you won't after the pub crawl because we shut down Diamondbacks last year and then went to the pub crawl and the pub crawl had ended after, Diamondbacks, and that was like at 1:00 in the morning. So that
I didn't realize we were shutting
you'll be crawling for a while
until we left. We all started leaving the dining room and we go into the main dining room and there's nobody there. I did not realize we took that much of their time.
And that's another thing is that venues usually don't do this for people. You usually get a 2-hour slot. That's your dinner time. And these guys have us from open to close. Mm. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah. But no, last year I had some guys tell me that was what they were looking for when they joined Freemasonry. That kind of event, that kind of discussion, that kind of camaraderie. And honestly, the people in question, they might not even be active in the fraternity anymore if it wasn't for that. So there's definite value to be had in it. And when the other 364 days of the year is all about fish fries and arguing about dues and all this stuff that is just completely un-Masonic, you have at least 3-4 hours on that one evening where you can look forward to that, and it's always going to be what you're looking for in the fraternity.
And it is definitely, when you talk to people the next day, you will have definitely been at the best venue
of the night,
for sure.
Yeah.
And not to say anything bad about the pub, I mean, we will be toasting y'all as you go by, because you will pass us at one of the stops. And when that happens, when I hear the bagpipes, I'm going to have everybody be upstanding, and we will toast y'all. And I'll tell Dave to make sure and everybody take a stop and take a look at us, toast y'all as y'all are going through, because you're going to go next door to us. But yeah, this is the event to go to for a nice, warm, and delicious dinner. Great conversation. We've got Kyle Walquist speaking, and I was going to reveal what he was speaking on, but I'm not now. I'm just going to let it be a surprise to everybody. But it's a good talk.
Kyle
and
has
so,
never disappointed with any of his discussions.
Never.
They've always been. He talked at our summit. His keynote at our summit, and
yes,
you and I, we attended a dinner in College Station 6 months ago, not long ago.
Yes,
where he talked at there, and totally different kind of topic, right? It was the first time I ever heard him talk on something like that, and I'm still having discussions with some of my friends from some of the other brothers there. From that conversation. In fact, you allude to things from that sometimes still. And so it was that good of a presentation.
I have to.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But, he also, if you look at our talks online, he's also always, he's only number 2 to Brad Billings in views, because of the stuff, the way that he's able to articulate what he's got to say. I mean, he's the only person I know that talks more than me, but he can articulate it well to where you want to listen.
Well, our last episode, by the way.
Do within it. I mean, I have proof from yesterday. I mean, that's hard.
So a brother came in from Colorado this week, and he's actually he's a director, and he has done a film that's in the film festivals right now, and he's working on a documentary for the Grand Lodge of Colorado. And so he asked me if I wanted to do an interview. So we go to do it at Goliad yesterday, and he comes in and we at first I told him, okay, let's set up at 1:00, and that way we have the afternoon to do our thing. Well, I didn't read the email from Grotto, and that was installation day at Grotto at 2:00. So we ended up sitting through the Grotto installation, doing all that. And then afterwards, Grotto goes out, has dinner and drinks like normal, and we do the interview. How long was it that it took, Josh? Before
So we got done with Grotto installation and was sitting at the Mexican food restaurant about 2:45, 3:00. At 6:00, they were still sitting at the lodge.
So
3 hours.
I know you said you're probably going to talk about what was similar, like on that episode you sent me. I have not had an opportunity to listen to it. So why was he already coming to Texas for something, or he traveled to Texas just to talk to you?
No, he came to Texas and then asked me if I wanted to interview while he was down.
What did y'all end up talking about?
All kinds of stuff. We it was, I don't know what's going to actually make the cut. So we talked about we talked about dues. We talked about, suiting up. We talked about, value. We talked about mentorship. We talked a little bit about Grand Lodge and how, we did have a little bit going on last year, but now we're in a much better place this year, and looking forward looks very positive with our trustees and the next Grand Junior Warden that's going to go into position. It all looks real positive for Texas. And so we talked about just a plethora of things. We talked for 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can attest to that. The gentleman, I can't remember his name, Dennis, but when you talk to him, his family is actually one of the founding members of a town here in South Texas, Kennedy,
Helen.
Texas.
It's Helen. It's Helen, Texas. It's a ghost town now, but yeah, and they were founders. They were charter members of the Alameda Lodge.
Yeah.
Which is 200 years old. I mean, it's an old lodge.
Yeah, if you listen to him, his great grandfather, I don't know if it's great or
great, just like my great
helped found one of the towns here because there was some turmoil going on in another town up the road, and so yeah, that's his tie down here to South Texas.
Yeah, his great grandfather had 93,000 acres up down here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was. Yeah.
That reminds me of not to detract too much, but I was talking to a guy from South Texas, and this is back when I had a farm. I call it the ranch, and he's like talking about his ranch. I was like, "Oh, how big is your ranch?" And he's like, "Well, let me put it this way. If I get in my car first thing in the morning, I won't be to the other side of the ranch by the end of the day." And I said, "Well, I have a car like that too." So
right.
Yeah.
I have a starter problem too.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so I think we all agree that the dinner's the place to be, unless you just have somewhere else to be. Like no judgment if you bring your wife or something, you got somewhere else you got to be. Or if you're going to be a district deputy or something next year, you should probably be at the Grand Master's banquet. But I remember last year.
Well, but wait a second, you said the Grand Master's
the Grand Master's banquet is for people this year, because it's this Grand Master. Grand Master's banquet is for this year, not. Yeah.
So if you're district deputy, you should probably go to the Grand Master's banquet.
Right, but if you're going to be a district deputy next year,
you should go
to next year's Grand Master's banquet.
There you go.
Correct. That's what I would recommend.
But I do remember last year after the dinner, hearing people talk about what they did, other things they did, and it did not sound nearly as fun or as exciting as the dinner. So just putting that out there.
Yeah.
I had something I wanted to bring up. Wait, didn't someone else say they had something they wanted to talk about at the beginning before we got started?
Before we stop this topic, just one more thing.
Sure.
One thing that I am going to mention at the end of our dinner is I'm going to tell everyone, look around. And I want you to take note of the people that are here, that are in your area. Because one thing that I want to encourage as Masonic Improvement, one thing I want to encourage the next year is for you to have at least one dinner like this in your area. Set up something like this in your area for local brothers and give them something a little bit better than what they're used to every day.
I like that a lot, man.
So I'm planning on ending with that.
I like that a whole lot. Sure thing. No, that's something I had considered on my end also, because it's unfortunate. Let me back up. It's fortunate that we have this option. It's fortunate that we can do this and we have the opportunity to host an event like this. But it's unfortunate that you have to wait the entire year for the most part. And yes, there are some options. You can, like Dennis and I were talking about, you do have the option like the College Station, like their festive board that they had. Waco, it's been a few years, but Waco hosts really good festive boards. I don't know if they did one last year. Hopefully they'll continue doing that though. There are options like festive boards, but it doesn't even have to be that formal for it to be the Masonic Improvement Dinner. It's not a festive board, not by the definition of a festive board. There's no ritual or anything involved with it, and it doesn't have to. And so my point is, like, if if I live in Goliad, Texas, I don't necessarily want to go to College Station or Waco or something like that for a dinner. They're good if you can. So the value, I think, is, once you go to the dinner, we definitely should be looking around and seeing who's in our area, because it's not impossible to host something like that. Will it? It probably won't be as large because you're pulling from a smaller pool of like-minded people, but just get them together, even if it's 5 of you. Even if
that's what I'm saying is 5, 10, 15 people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do have dinners like this throughout my year, every year. I have several of them. And so now, and this is something of its own nature, though. I love this because it brings the brightest minds all over Texas that I don't get to talk to all the time like this. So it does have its own value. But yeah, that 5, 10, 15 people. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want it to be any bigger than that, because you can't really discuss and have those debates that make it so great with too many people.
Yeah. Just get a few like-minded guys, have your dinner, have a presentation, discuss it with your small group, and make that enjoyable. And then maybe tell everybody, keep an eye out for somebody else next time that's like-minded. Put your feelers out for somebody that can contribute to the dinner. And yeah, I wouldn't get it larger than 10 for like local dinners like this.
Yeah, and tell whoever you're getting.
Go ahead, but I just got to do something real quick.
Okay, tell whoever you're getting to speak to make it a challenging topic, something that's going to really push the buttons of themselves and others, just to get that conversation, make the sparks fly. Because when we have dinners like this, we always want to go in and say, this is all by the square. What happens in this room stays within this room. And the reason why is because we want your conversation to be open and honest, no matter what your response is to the topic at hand. We want it to be open and honest, and that way you have that trust. And then you tell the speaker, hey, we've got this premise. Now make it a challenging topic that forces people to have an opinion on it, to where they're really going to want to challenge each other on their beliefs and thoughts, so that together as a group you get to know each other better, number one. And number two, you might just change a couple of minds along the way and actually help the group become stronger as a whole. And that's the good stuff, in my opinion. I think that's what Freemasonry was founded upon, was different people from different, I wouldn't say different backgrounds, because a lot of them were aristocrats back then, but different people from different areas getting together, trying to find solutions for the day, right? And to do that, they had to challenge each other and really talk about the hard topics and not the softballs. It wasn't an easy discussion. It was you always want to have topics that are going to challenge everyone's basically challenge everyone's belief system. And sometimes it'll be right on par with what somebody believes, but hopefully you'll have a couple of people that it's different in the room, so that they'll want to speak up and have that debate back and forth and really see what it is to be a brother and come out stronger in the end.
Yeah. And I would also say it doesn't have to be like because you say challenge belief system, and I think a lot of people think like their faith or something like that, and that's not necessarily what we're talking about. It's like, well, we shared a video a month or two ago related to like the Royal Arch and how that can relate to like astrology and things like that. That will change your belief system for a lot of people, because whoa, that you saying that is actually has a role here in all this. I mean, it challenged some of my thoughts on things like that, and it could be something just like that. Like if you found like an interesting concept, dive into it, elaborate on it, and give a presentation on that, and it will challenge your what you thought you knew about something as simple as the keystone in the rural arch or something like that. And it's still going to create discussion. I probably wouldn't do that unless you're just getting York Rat guys together. But you could find something like that Masonically. There's plenty out there. And just present on it from a angle that has probably not been considered by a lot of them before. And I'm not saying you have to just go way out of left field and come up with something out your, just make it up. There's perfect ways to connect dots with ways that people have not even considered before.
Well, and it doesn't necessarily have to be adversarial.
Right.
It can very much be, an illuminating topic. As Justin, you were saying earlier, not necessarily something that's going to be, a mind-blowing experience,
mm-hmm.
but just maybe a way of looking at a topic differently than may be prevalent within that area, and especially when you're talking about aerial gatherings like this, and like, I know, my home district, they don't have a hot rod restaurant like Diamondbacks to do something like this at, but they do have a pretty well-known steakhouse in that area that may or may not. I'm going to have to do some investigating because this is something that I'm thinking, how do I put this on? Because it'll just be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, get a private room that you can have any conversation you want in, and not have to worry about people listening in the background or whatever to your conversation.
Right.
Yeah, that reminds me. I need to ask somebody to find a venue for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, so that kind of ties into something.
There's got to be a wicked cool Mexican restaurant in Goliad you can hold an event at.
Probably a few.
Right.
There's probably half a dozen.
Facts.
Right. It's all we have.
So I saw something on Facebook. It was either today or yesterday. I can't remember what it was. But talking about challenging your worldview a little bit. So I kind of wanted to talk about this as it starts to get kind of late. But so there is a very common phrase in Freemasonry that I think does more harm than good. And we have lots of these phrases. And we don't use them because, and I'm not accusing anybody here because I've said them all before too, but we don't necessarily use them because we're being thoughtful about what they're saying, but because they're catchy sometimes. Like, to be one, ask one, right? But this particular one was Freemasonry is not a secret society. It's a society with secrets. And I'm going to just I'm going to say the same thing I said in the comments. I don't know if anyone of y'all saw it or not. But that is a byproduct of a generation of Freemasonry that did everything they could to detract from the mystery in the allure of the fraternity with the thought process that it would make it more appealing to people. And I will say that...
Do what? What was that?
Were you not listening?
What was it that made... I'm texting. What was it that...
Where'd you lose me at? How far back do you want me to go?
Never mind.
No, it's fine. So the saying is, Freemasonry is not a secret society. It's a society with secrets.
Society with secrets?
Yeah. And
there are definitely secrets. We talked about that on the show too,
yeah.
on the recording yesterday.
And so the point is, that has done more harm for the fraternity than it has done good. If someone wanted something mundane, and I'm not casting any shade on these organizations, but if somebody wanted to join something mundane, they would go to Elks Lodge or Lions Club or Rotary, and I would say, and I don't say Elks Lodge is mundane. I'm just saying that's not really something people kind of lump them in mentally, I think. Or Kiwanis. But if they're looking for something mysterious, something that is not necessarily easy to get into, that has some level of exclusivity, then they're probably gonna look at Freemasonry, maybe Oddfellows, if they're like really into obscure organizations, but they're gonna look at Freemasonry. And if you go and knock on the door of your local lodge because you're looking for something that is exclusive and ancient and mysterious, and you knock on that door, they say, "Oh, we're not a secret society. We're just a society with secrets." By the way, it's $100 a year to join. All that expectation goes out the window, and all the allure of Freemasonry goes out the window, because all of a sudden it's just like those other organizations in your mind. And I wasn't trying, Jason. I wasn't trying to cast any negativity your way at all. I was just thinking of organizations off the top of my head that were Freemasonry. So don't feel
whatever.
I don't feel like I'm hating on the Elks. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts also, because that's just, like I said, also there's other sayings like to be one, ask one. I don't know. I'm sure there are exceptions, but I don't know if anybody who saw to be one, ask one on the bumper sticker and ran that guy off the road. Give me a petition. I don't want a petition right now, or anything like that. So, what are y'all's thoughts on these kind of things?
So, when I first started becoming willing to become a Freemason, I was working with a bunch of guys who were Freemasons, but they were all in a completely different grand jurisdiction than where I am now. Florida, to be specific. But like those guys that I worked with in Florida were from, we had one dude who was raised in Canada. We had another guy who was raised in the Virgin Islands. We had another dude who was raised in, New Jersey.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, these were dudes from all over the place. But, I was a merchant mariner, so I worked with guys from everywhere. When I walked into my local lodge, they used that particular phrase, "We're not a secret society, we are a society with secrets." I'm pretty sure they used that to dissuade me.
That's interesting that you say that.
They really did. I went to dinner at that lodge for, good grief, 8-9 months.
Man, you wanted to become a Mason.
Yeah.
God
I did.
bless
this
you.
is something
I'm
I want.
Glad you're here.
And it was actually kind of funny that at that point I was familiar enough with these guys, and I'm not going to call them brothers at this point because they weren't my brothers yet. But we got done eating our ham sandwich and potato chips. We didn't even get green beans, but maybe, once or twice a quarter. But
on the St. John's Day, they would make special dinners and.
But it was funny to me that it was the guy was the current DDGM, was there not to be received, but because he was a member of the lodge. So I'd seen him probably 5-6 times already. And he goes, "Okay, well, let's go upstairs. Let's open lodge, because it's 7:00 and it's time." And I was like, "All right, fellas, well, I'll see you later." And he goes, "Where are you going?" "I'm going home. I'm not a member. I'm not a Mason." He goes, "You got your birth certificate with you?" No. "All right, well, come upstairs. We're going to give you a quick tour of the lodge room." And I'd already seen it. "But I'm going to give you a quick tour of the lodge room, and I'm going to give you a petition. You obviously want this." So take it home, fill it out, come back next month with your birth certificate, and we'll get this process rolling. And that was not one of my favorite people. You know, he just wasn't. But he was the guy who said, "Come here, you. Let's do this."
Yeah.
Well, and that says a lot, because even though he wasn't your favorite person, you know, he still made that effort to you know, take the initiative, and, you know, saw something in you. So that's good. That's good, because
Is he still alive?
as brothers, we don't always get along, and so, you know, having that that feeling towards people in general, even though you don't always agree, that's good. I like it.
Is he still alive, Byron?
Yeah, I think I'm still alive anyway.
Well, is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
So he's gonna watch this video and be like, "He didn't like me." That's
No,
he's not gonna watch it.
He's not going to know that I was talking about him. You know, but he's like, you know, he's not even like on the internet.
Gotcha.
This is an old dude.
But you brought up something interesting that I hadn't considered. If you get a new possible petitioner, right, a prospect, and he's interested in joining, and he mentions his secrets, and you have this guy that gets this kind of anxiety. He's like, because he doesn't know the secrets, so there must not be any secrets, and so he kind of downplays it. Well, we're not a secret society; we're a society with secrets. I was thinking about this as you said that, because I was like, are we really even a secret society? And then I was thinking about, I don't know if you've ever heard the Skull and Bones Society at Yale. Or is it Yale or Harvard? I think it's Yale.
It's Yale.
And they have a building, and it's labeled.
They're not even a secret.
Yeah, they're not a secret. We know who their members are, and,
right?
But they're considered a secret society, and so
you don't know who all their. You know
all of them.
You may know,
but you don't know who all the members of the lodge are.
Them.
Yeah, and so my point is, just this, because people will downplay. Well, we can't be a secret society. We have buildings that are downtown. You know, obviously labeled. We don't make secrets of our membership or anything. That's not qualification for a secret society. Secret society doesn't mean the existence of the society itself is a secret. It is a society with secrets. But the way you word it.
One of the things that I heard, you know, very soon after I became a Mason, you know, very soon after I was initiated, was that we're the worst kept secret society on the planet. Because everybody knows Masons are out there.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that Masons exist.
We may be the worst kept secret society, but we are a secret society.
So. No, we're a society with secrets. And, you know, that's where I drew the distinction. Mm-hmm. And that for me became important. You know, as far as keeping those things secret that should remain secret, but still being a valued member of my local community, mm-hmm. under the auspices of being a Mason.
And that's the reality, that for umpteen years, for, you know, centuries now, communities knew who Masons were. Mm-hmm. They trusted them immensely because they knew that they would get their money back if they loaned them money or whatever. So they knew who everybody was. They just didn't know what happened inside the doors.
I'm gonna draw a real hard distinction there. One of the other things that I was told early in my Masonic career, and I want y'all to think about this for a moment. Every good man is a Mason, but not every Mason is a good man.
Hmm.
And we all know examples of that. I'm going to go ahead and call it an axiom. What we are supposed to be, what we are trying to be, every last one of us, to one degree or another, is men of character, men of sound beliefs, men who are worthy of the respect of their neighbors.
Well, and I think personally, if somebody is not trustworthy in that manner, that other people hold us in that regard, then that's the failure of the lodge. They shouldn't have let that person in the door. That's where mass initiations have failed us, is things like that.
I don't know about mass initiations, but
not necessarily the process of mass initiation. I just mean initiating the masses is what I mean.
Oh, got you.
And and I'm gonna fall right back on guarding the West Gate. We have to do the best job we can with the information available to us to make certain that we are not initiating, passing, and raising men who are not going to be good Masons. I'm not even going to qualify that with great. I'm just going to say good Masons. Okay? I have known some great Masons. My father-in-law was an amazing Mason. My mentor was nothing but the best of Masonry. And, and that's a bar I hold myself to. And I know that I fall short, but it doesn't mean I don't keep trying.
Absolutely. Brad, I see your hand up. Do you have something you want to add?
Yeah. Along the lines of secrets, I've heard this said before, and basically, if you look deep and hard enough and read enough books and study enough literature about Freemasonry, you could probably figure out all of the secrets that we have or whatever, but they're not going to mean the same thing to you unless you're a Mason.
Mm-hmm.
That's, for me, is the secret.
I would take that one step further. We talked about this. This is another thing we talked about in that other interview. That there are absolutely secrets, and sure, there's a lot of information on the web, but only 5% of all that information out there is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And in all reality, only a Mason will know which 5% is accurate. The normal Joe is not going to know which 5% is accurate or not, because there's just so much information.
Well, then you got to take into account you have all the different rights that confuse
and
and they don't know the
different
difference.
Fiction,
I was going to say that too. So so you may find a leak somewhere online, and it has the Kansas ritual, and you may think you know something. Maybe if you're trying to if you live in Kansas, you know something, but that might not be the same as Texas ritual, and it definitely won't be the same as Mexico ritual or UK ritual. And so it'll be close enough to convince you because you don't have the actual experience to differentiate, or it may just be some totally made up crap that, going back to your crowd, a lot of their stuff is close enough where if you don't know the difference, you may think it's Blue Lodge. So you're absolutely right. You don't know. That is the real secret. You have to experience it.
Yes. There's something else I'd like to say about the secrets. So years ago, we instituted this what are they called? Open houses for the lodges.
Yeah.
I hate those.
Me too.
I remember those.
Yeah. And but I bought in. No, I was all in. I think I was senior warden at the time when that happened, and I was all in. I was gonna, help our lodge and all this, and so I'm opened up with the master, and we're sitting there waiting for people to come by, and this was on the second Saturday when we have our monthly whatever you call it, market days in downtown, and so there's a lot of traffic. And the first thing out of the master's mouth at the time was, well, there ain't no secrets in Freemasonry. And I got so pissed off. And well, I didn't even get pissed off at him right away. It took a minute for it to fester that I got pissed off, but I didn't say anything to him or anybody at the lodge. But that's the problem with us as a fraternity is that we're not on the same page with this stuff. We, if there's one thing that Grand Lodge could do, they could say, just shut your mouth, guys. Let's just not talk about it. If we're not 100% on something, don't talk about it. Yeah. There are absolutely secret societies. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you, there are absolutely secret societies within secret societies.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you get a group of people together that are doing certain things, and that's a secret society. And where are they going to hide best? In other secret societies or other fraternal organizations or other organizations that are membership based, paid membership based, right? Because they pay to get in, and then they can have their own little thing within that body and get away with it because they're all part of the same body. So nobody is the wiser. Nobody thinks anything different. I think that now that sounds very sinister, but I think there's also secret societies as in philosophical type societies within organizations like Freemasonry, to where not everybody gets us, right? They don't want to hear our thoughts and opinions on things. They just want to hear what somebody else wrote in a book so that they can say, see, it's in a book. It's real. That's real history because it was in a book written back in the 1500s, even though that person was a dictator that, decided on every word that was written in that book based off of his personal feelings and opinions on all things, Are you
thinking about a specific book, Dennis?
No.
Are you sure?
No. But I'm saying, what I'm saying though is that, there are secret societies out there, and it doesn't have to be with Freemasons. It doesn't, it can be with any kind of a group where people can join, get familiar with each other, and form groups within those groups and get together and talk about the things that they believe in. It happens.
Brother Naylor in the chat or on YouTube, he said, I think it's more private than it's secret. And I could see possibly where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. Well, I get that too. That's closer to the reality of where we are today.
Yeah.
Privacy.
Yeah, privacy. But no, I agree with what you're saying. And I mean, yeah, there's all kinds of, even your little cliques you could be considered secret societies.
Well, that's why we call this the inner circle, because this is the sanctum sanctorum of the people who listen to Masonic Improvement.
Yeah.
These are contributors to, these are contributors to the shape of our show.
Well, at that time, it's just a good time as any to point out that you too could join the inner circle.
What a segue!
Yeah,
You should be on a two-wheeled thing that
Check-
you know. you drive
Yeah,
around
exactly.
But check out the link.
You
below
too
the
can join
description.
this not so secret society.
And we have several different membership plans, and they all get you access. It's just a matter of how much you want to contribute, how much value you get, and how much you want to support us. And believe me, it is helpful when y'all do that. So, because running a pod, you can start a podcast for cheap. Really, you can, but as it grows, it starts to get more expensive. So, if you get value, please, by all means.
Well, hell, the camera
joining.
that I really want to get is it's a $4,000 camera,
Oh my gosh.
and there's no way I'm going to get that off of this show.
Yeah, no.
I think Santa's
Well,
going to
then
have to
you
bring
better
it to me
figure out a
next
way
year.
to boost membership, Mister.
Right? That's how my wife feels about it, because she knows I'll get it whether I do that or not.
Oh yeah, because I mean, my wife just left, but yeah, she's like, "How much do you spend on this?" Nothing, almost nothing. I got in at the bargain basement level, but here I am.
So what camera
Right.
are you looking at? That's 4Gs, man. Is it?
It's 6K.
They
It's
have
a 6K
6K?
camera. Yeah, it's a 6K production camera. Yeah.
Does
How
this
big is
mean
it?
we're going to get to see the pores in your face and the little bit of
That
stubble you got
will
under
do
your
absolutely
nose?
nothing for the look of your face, Dennis. So you don't need to buy a 6K. You could probably get away with 3K and just
Probably so. Probably so.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. But you're right.
You'll get to
It's
put up
expensive.
even better backgrounds.
Hey, while we're
That's
on
right.
shameless plugs, I do have one. If you will give me a second,
Do it to it.
Plug away.
I have a shameless plug that I'm going to help my brother Carlton Newberry. So for Christmas this year, I received this for my mother-in-law. Which, if you're not familiar with this is a case knife in the tin. It's very nice. Here's the knife itself, and so I have the knife, and it says, "In search of more light on the blade," with the blue and the Masonic symbol on there. I have it on good authority that these knives will be at Grand Lodge next week in the
pop-up shop.
In the pop-up shop. They will
right
be
across the street from Grand Lodge at the, what is that? It's the brewery.
Southern Roots.
The
Southern
Roots.
Roots. So
Yes.
I don't remember the exact price, but I do know that these knives in this tin will be at Grand Lodge next week.
Yes, they
Man, and I'm a buck knife guy, but I might be tempted to go buy a case just for that.
will. Right.
So it's pretty nice. I mean, you get the tin and everything, and if you open it up, and the whole deal and the whole 9 yards, and it's in here, and you get the.
Man, you can keep your papers in there.
Do you,
Oh, yeah.
Do you have to buy the whole case, or can you just get one?
Well, it comes in the tin, Justin. The
Yeah, you have
brand.
to buy the whole
Oh,
tin.
yeah, you
Justin.
got the whole
of
case.
knives.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Stop messing up the production.
It comes with a certificate of authenticity from Case with the whole 9 yards. So
Nice. Very cool.
Okay, well, I don't have anything that cool, but I am going to bust out my buck knife.
like I said, I'm doing a shameless plug for my friend Carlton Newberry that says that they will be there next week at Grand Lodge. So
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to have to get one.
So next time you go to a Mexican restaurant, ask the waitress, "What if I don't want a whole case of Diaz? Can I just get one case or one Dia?"
One day.
They love it every
that
time.
is
I
so
promise you,
awful.
they'll just laugh and laugh.
Yeah, they'll say, "You Tex-Mex mother, get the hell out of my
as a
fucking
person
restaurant."
that has lived in South Texas for the past 25 years, let me give you a piece of advice. Do not eat Mexican food north of I-10.
Yes.
I don't know
I
about
know.
that.
No, I'm going to have to agree. And the further south you go, the better it gets.
I mean, Jason's
true.
right there on the line, so he knows the difference. Yeah, exactly.
Absolute best food I have ever had. And I'm not even going to qualify it by saying Mexican. the best food I have ever had. Brownsville.
Yeah, they got some good food down there.
Oh yeah.
Boy.
But that's one of the things that I love, across the border for is, whenever we get close to the border of Mexico, we jump over and go eat dinner, no matter where we are, whether it's Juarez or wherever. And yeah, the closer you get, the better it is. But if you can jump across the border, it's just phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
if the further south you go, the better the Mexican food gets.
No, the better the food gets, period.
Then that means that there's a point. There's a point when it's like the best, and then you have to start going north again to get to that point. So where is that?
Well,
where's
maybe
that,
if you're looking at Polish food.
Do what?
Maybe if you're looking at Polish food, you need to go north.
No, I'm talking about Mexican food.
Right.
Like, where's the perfect point? Where's
I-10. Just anything south of I-10 is better than anything north of I-10.
We even have damn good German food yet. I mean, we're right in
We've
German
got ridiculous German food.
Yeah, I mean, it's Polish and German food is abundant here as well.
So
not abundant.
You want some good kolaches, then you go north of I-10. Don't get any kolaches south of I-10. You got to get good kolaches north of I-10.
Well, yeah, because kolaches south of I-10 are what the Polish know as klobasniks.
Sure.
That's right. So you got to know what to order.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's funny. That is funny.
All right, guys. Well, it's almost 11, and we are talking about kolaches now. So it's
damn it, we're just getting into the secrets of
Masonic. I don't care what anybody says.
We're talking about kolaches, kielbasa's, and pickles and blankets, and breakfast tacos. And poor Brad has no idea what the hell we're talking about.
I mean, I will say the later it gets.
I live north of I-20, so let's talk about your stuff.
Just stick with Polish food, buddy. I love you, brother, but stick with Polish food.
All right. Who has final thoughts?
I don't have final thoughts. I have thoughts. Go ahead, Brad.
All right. So I did get to watch you guys' Skull and Bones show in Freemasonry yesterday. I was sitting there all day in a hunting blind, so I decided to watch that, and it was really good. I enjoyed listening to you guys talk about the whole process of, dying your ego dying, and being reborn into something new. And there was something that Dennis said about, if you think that your lodge is only alive because of you, then that's not Masonic. Like, once I leave, and my lodge is going to die. Like, it's just going to give up. You said something along that line. I don't think it was exactly that. I'm paraphrasing, really, but it really opened my eyes. Made me think about, how I may or may not be acting or whatever. It just made me be super cautious about how I act as the worshipful master of the lodge, to try to be supportive of everybody, that I'm leading right now.
Yeah.
But I think you, just real quick, I think you are training the people that are coming up behind you, whereas I was talking about people who don't train the people that come behind them.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say the same thing.
So I just want you to know that you are the furthest person from what I would think of if I was listening to that show. So I appreciate the sentiment, because
it's more along the lines of this lodge needs
I was concerned.
Me. I'm not going to let go of my position or anything like that because the lodge will just die without me. Because there are guys like that.
Or not teach anybody anything so that I can hold on to that position. And it all evolves around me. I don't think that's you, Brad. I think that you're doing an excellent job. And I think that with the humility, I mean, you're pushing these guys, but you're not doing it for you. You've got the humility of trying to help the lodge in all aspects, and you can tell. And so, man, don't don't be cautious. You're doing great. You're doing great. And I think that, even you talking about going to OLT with your next master, man, how many guys are thinking about that, thinking about their next master like that? How many guys are thinking about being that past master that wants to show up and support the next master coming in? So,
and not be the past master that goes, well, back in my year, last year.
You're right.
I would also add on to that, if somebody had an ego issue and they listened to that, it would not even occur to them that it could be them. To be honest with you. So the fact that you are able to listen to that and kind of look outside of yourself and kind of reevaluate things, that the fact that you're willing and able to even analyze your own actions, that says a lot about your ego. The fact that,
and that's exactly what we were talking about, the kind of,
or your lack of ego,
what we should be developing in Masonry. And man, thank you for the plug. I was worried that people weren't going to be attached to the show, but go ahead. I'm sorry, we completely debauched your final thoughts.
Sorry.
You
made such a good point.
Though it made me feel good talking about our show and what I said in particular. That made me feel good. But that's I think that we just completely screwed it up.
Please continue, Brad. I apologize.
So basically, I was kind of building on what I was thinking. It was like, after watching that show and then listening to you guys talk about tonight, and how you mentioned how you're going to end your dinner coming up in next week, and about trying to get together with people. So it's really opening my mind up to try to really. I have a kind of a resolution this year of my own to try. It's like a goal. Is not to. I don't want to quit Masonry at all, but I just want to take 1 year to not be an officer anymore, to where I can seek out because there's so many different paths you can go. And if I'm not tied down to being an officer or anything, I can be supportive of my lodge in one way by supporting all the ritual and all that I'm really good at, and helping support the new master come in. But I can also have time to, not be tied down to having to go to the meetings and go to other things that meet on the same night as my lodge. Or I can, venture off and try other things. And, getting together with people that may be at your dinner on a sidebar that live around me, that's a great idea. Mm-hmm. That's a really good idea. So that's what I was thinking about as y'all were talking tonight. I was thinking about your show and all the things you said on there, and the Skull and Bone show, and then what y'all were talking about tonight. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for always activating my brain and helping me think outside of myself. Thank you for that.
Man. That's it. That's a wrap. Nope. Just kidding. What you got, Jason?
Well, first off, while y'all were talking about Masonic knives, I just had to show you this. Came from our Victory Lodge
dang
Christmas party. It was actually a gift exchange. My wife actually wanted it, and I took it from her. It was like that.
What?
I have one of those.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, you do not want an Eastern Star to have.
Completely impractical, but it looks cool. Anyway, talking about looking back to your people that came before you and seeking out their help and stuff like that. So I just looked, and I spent an hour and 53 minutes on the phone today with Dennis Yates, talking about his chief year as the Knights of St. Andrew. In a lot of ways, Dennis has already been he's already a past master. He's already been a district deputy. And in a lot of ways, and he's been a Mason a lot longer than I have. But, he didn't have to. I have no authority in the KSA anymore. I'm just a past chief. But the fact that, he was still willing to sit on the phone with me to help him go over his year, just shows that, you should be able to humble yourself if you're coming into an organization and look to some of the leaders in the past to kind of get their advice and stuff like that. I mean, Dennis doesn't need any help actually leadership. He doesn't need help like leadership wise or how to deal with people, but it was more of a practical, like, okay, what events are there? What are we, what generally do we do? It was that kind of stuff. But the fact that, he was willing to sit on the phone with me and we walked through all of it and everything like that and stuff like that, just shows that, it doesn't matter, you could be, highly experienced in all sorts of other things, but, you come into a new, or you're taking over an organization that, you haven't been the head of before, then, why not seek out those that have already done it and stuff like that. And you know what? And also it did feel good that he did come to me and felt like I had done a good enough job my year that he would actually find some value into what I was saying. So, I certainly do appreciate it. And again, it's an example of being able to humble yourself and, look to someone who's junior in a lot of ways, and still be able to, feel like you're going to be able to get some good insight. So
Dennis is extraordinarily humble. So that's,
man,
but I am probably
just not with you, Justin.
I am probably the most humble person you will ever meet in your entire life.
What was it, Guardians of the Galaxy
sure.
with Drax or whatever? I'm extraordinarily humble. Yeah.
Yeah.
I too am extraordinarily humble. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that, and hopefully, people hear that and just realize that good counsel is good counsel, and I called you because I know that you genuinely care about the success of the KSA and my success. And that's why I called you, because I know that our goals align, and I know that you're not going to steer me wrong. And so I'm grateful for you being that person for me. And I hope that everybody has somebody like that they can call. I hope that each and every one of us has that in a past master role anywhere, or a past whatever, past insert name here, whether it's chief or whatever, past venerable master, past, I don't know, illustrious, whatever. Anyways, I hope that everybody has, but we don't always have them. And one of the best things that we can do as a leader is to continue to serve after in that kind of a role. I mean, being the support there, just ask Justin. Being a supportive role, there's no shame in it. Just kidding. He didn't even catch it. See, that's how supportive he is. He didn't even catch it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I never shamed you for being supportive. What are you talking about?
But
you've been a
seriously,
great apprentice.
But seriously, I think that, I appreciate those kind of words, Jason. In the reality is though, is that, you were the one that was humble enough to just get down to it and just listen to what I was thinking and walk through it with me and make sure that, all the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed, and, it's going to be a great year. And I think that our body will be better for it. Hopefully, we'll be able to leave it a little bit better than the way we found it, and the next chief will be able to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that's the goal, anyways, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What
I'd like
you got,
to jump
Lauren?
in here if I could.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
Yeah, right on. So, first off, Brad, I fully support you in taking that step back and looking for other opportunities. I didn't have much of a choice. I'm speaking my own personal experience. Because I had to move for work, but now I have had those opportunities show up and embraced them willingly. And I encourage you to look in those same directions, whether it's, as a DI, because you've expressed on numerous occasions, you love the ritual and you love the work. If that's something that's tugging at your heartstrings, jump on it, brother. Get after it. Have some fun, and do what excites your passion. I don't know how good I'm going to be at my new job, but I know I'm going to be as good as I can be. And, brother, if you take that attitude in with you, well, I don't see how it didn't go wrong. As far as tonight's topics, brothers, ooh, I'm so looking forward to the dinner. This is going to be a good time. And I'm really looking forward to going to OLT here in Waco. It's March, I believe it is. This is going to be some good times. It's about figuring out how I can best serve, how I can best agree, how I can best work with. And for me, that's why I became a Mason. This is part of my core. And I'm really looking forward to it all. So that's all I got.
Nice.
Thank you for sharing that, Reno.
Yeah. So, Justin, if you decide you want to go to OLT in Waco, you let me know.
Yeah.
We'll have some fun.
It's the same distance either way, so I'm trying to decide. April will be a little calmer for me, but we'll see.
That's where I went to my first OLT was in Waco. I went to my first 101 in Waco. That was a great experience. I enjoyed the atmosphere, I like doing it right there in the library and having that atmosphere, and yeah, it's a good place to do it.
Most definitely, man.
And there's always a pretty good turnout too.
But I'm glad you're excited about the dinner.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's gonna be awesome. Anyone else have something they'd like to share? Jeff,
you got anything tonight?
We've talked about Texas related things for an hour and a half. Do you have any comments on tonight?
No, sir. You guys just have a good time down in your Grand Lodge meeting.
When is y'all's Grand Lodge?
Ours is in March. And it'll be my first one that I can attend. So I've already got my hotel and registration all squared away. I really look forward to it.
Do y'all have your own
when
building?
is it in March?
I'm sorry, what?
When is it in March?
The 12th through the 15th, like a Thursday through a Saturday.
Does your Grand Lodge have its own building, or do they do conferences?
They do. Oh, well, it'll be at a hotel conference room for that.
Got you.
Grand Lodge meeting, yeah.
Got you. Interesting.
I'm going to be tied up that weekend.
Was it my turn then, I guess?
Yes, it is.
I'll just say, like always, I appreciate all of y'all. And we said this earlier in the show, like if you get value out of these lives and these videos we do, and if you want to participate in this, what we have here, or if you just really enjoy what we're doing and you want to support Masonic Improvement in some way, contribute, then consider joining the Inner Circle. It's a membership off YouTube. I usually don't say membership because I don't want people to think like we're like a lodge with members or anything. This does not make you a Mason, but that's what YouTube calls it. They call it memberships. But you can join the Inner Circle and contribute however you like. You can do it financially. There's different levels. They get you the same level of access, but it also gets you the login info for the Zooms. So if you want to participate and get on the Zooms, you can do that as well. Other than that, I mean, the dinner is going to be, it's going to be the high. I've looked forward to it ever since last year. And so, and that was just going to be a one-off thing, just to kind of support everybody because it was kind of a crazy year. And so we were just kind of be supportive of Grand Lodge, but people got so much value out of it. We actually got pressure to do another one. And so we went from being a one-off thing that we weren't going to do again to something that we kind of got pressured into doing. And I say pressure like it's a negative thing, but it was a good thing because it really showed us that there was a people got value out of it. There was a desire for it. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad we're doing it again. Jason, what's up?
Just to kind of advocate on y'all's behalf, because I've been on the y'all's end in planning these kinds of things. And I will tell you, it's very, very stressful when you have people say they're going to be coming, they're going to be coming, but they have not quite, paid that thing. And I was just put it out there. If you are coming, go ahead and pay it. Yes, it's expensive. I understand, but I can tell you on Dennis and Justin's end, it is the biggest stress is to know that people are coming, but they have not committed the funds because it's all these events revolve around how much revenue is brought in so that things can get paid for. So yeah. I just want to put that out there that if you know that you are going to go ahead and pay for it. So.
And to be clear, since you mentioned the word revenue, we don't get anything out of this. This is all. This is all
that's
for
that's
the hotel.
another thing. Yeah, it's all at our. It's all a break even for us, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, right. I bought a plate just like everybody else does. Dennis bought a plate. I mean, this is not like a for-profit event that we're running for Masonic Improvement. This is to provide value for the people, and so we're not getting anything financially out of this other than the value that comes from meeting with other like-minded brothers and enjoying a really good dinner. Because Diamondbacks, to be fair, is I wouldn't even say it's probably the nicest. It's probably the nicest restaurant I think I'm trying to really think if I've been anywhere else that's as good as Diamondbacks, and I can't think of anywhere.
And I will say this, as a guy who has eaten at Diamondbacks more than a couple of times, it is absolutely the finest dining available in Waco.
Yeah. There's one in Austin I went to. I can't remember the name
Capitol
of it.
Grill.
Capitol Grill.
Capitol Grill.
But it is still not Diamondbacks.
Right. I agree.
Actually, I think the best restaurant I went to was some hole in the wall in San Antonio where I got some Mexican food. Like you're saying, the further south you go, the better it gets. But
one of those scary places that you're afraid to walk into.
Yeah. Pretty much. But other than that, like as far as fine dining goes, Diamondbacks definitely. But anyway, back on point. What I say, I show my appreciation for y'all. I talked about the dinner. Yeah, man, talking about that Skull and Bones video. It's already got over 1,000 views and it's been out less than a week. But I think a lot of that's the title. But it has a really good click-through ratio and really good view duration. So people are getting value out of it. At least they're enjoying it. So I'm glad you listened to it, and I'm glad I appreciate everybody that takes the time to listen to all of our content, all of our videos, because I mean this is something Dennis and I do, and y'all on Sundays. This is something we do because we're passionate about Freemasonry. This is a passion project. It's not anything other than that. And so if we weren't passionate about it, well, first of all, probably Dennis probably wouldn't have been interested in coming on the show, and there probably wouldn't have been a show to start with. And so, but the fact that y'all come here every Sunday shows that we're on that Masonic improvement, and I don't say we like me and Dennis, us as a group are on the right track, because we're all moving in the same direction, Masonically, mentally. We're all growing together, and so I really appreciate all of you. All right, see y'all later. Bye.
Well, then I guess that leaves it to me.
Go ahead.
I agree. I mean, it's funny because how many of you know that does any of y'all know when somebody says it's time to make the donuts? Do y'all know what that's from?
It's from the Dunkin' Donuts commercial back in the 70s.
There you go.
What is
so?
Time to make the donuts?
Yeah, time to make donuts. So
I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go make freaking donuts for 5 a.m.
Yes, so that they're fresh. Well, I get up earlier tonight and I say that, and my wife looks at me funny and she says, "Well, it's not the right time for donuts." And I just had to start laughing. And I said, "Well, it's like that guy with Dunkin' Donuts and his job and all that." And she says, "That is not a job for you. You love doing that, so don't even act like it." I said, "Okay, you're right." But I though I feel that way sometimes, it's usually not about shit.
Wait, did you actually make donuts? I didn't know if you were implying like you made it and you enjoy it.
I didn't know if he wanted me to draw this out on.
Sorry.
I can. I can make this.
You just didn't seem like the culinary type. That's why. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue. My bad.
Oh, dude, I am definitely the culinary type.
Okay.
Ask my daughter. My son's a chef. There's a reason he's the chef.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
That's why I know that Diamondbacks is so good. Anyways. Yes, Diamondbacks is ready to go, and like I said, she's Megan is great. She has really made this a nice way to present it to the brothers, to where it's easy for everybody to get it paid for ahead of time, so there's no congestion in the evening. And we're going to have a great speaker. Kyle is always a great speaker for us, and just in general, he's always a great speaker. And we're going to have discussion actually as well. So what we failed to mention was that in this process, we had the speaker, but he's only going to be speaking for about 20 or 30 minutes tops. Because if he went any further than that, we wouldn't have time to discuss. And like I said earlier, I like to have thoughts that challenge people for my dinner discussions. I want the brothers to feel energized and ready to give their opinion, and opinions are great with me. I love opinions because those are your thoughts formulated into words. And your thoughts matter to me. I'm not going to become better if I don't understand who you are and how you feel. If I look up to you and you say something a certain way, I'm going to take a closer look at how I feel about that certain thing. And that's just the truth. That's how mentorships and apprenticeships are formed, is through these kind of discussions. Getting to know people across the state is something that's priceless. That's one of the main reasons. From the first time I went to Grand Lodge, I was toted up there by a brother that was going to be DDGM that year. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to do. And after that, I realized that I was going to see so many brothers that I knew online and that I had talked to in other venues and things like that. So I got to see all these brothers that I hadn't seen throughout the year, and I've never missed one since. Simple as that. That is my favorite time of the year, is to get together with all my brothers. You know, Freemasonry offers a lot of things. Fellowship is one of them. Fellowship and philosophy is probably my two most favorite things about Freemasonry. And Grand Lodge is all about fellowship for me. And we get to see democracy in its finest. I truly love the purity in democracy that you see in a Grand Lodge setting. I love it. But then the fellowship, and then the philosophy in our event is just, in my opinion, those are the moments that are second to none for me. And for me, if you're missing this dinner, it has nothing to do with Masonic improvement or how Justin and I feel or anybody else here in the inner circle. If you're missing this dinner, you're missing out. You really are. If you've never had an experience like this, you should have an experience like this at least once. And then that way you can recreate it, even if you don't come back the year after, so you can recreate it where you're at. Because I can assure you, once you do Freemasonry like this, you're gonna see things a lot differently than the way that you see them right now. That's the kind of impact that these events have had for me. That the thoughts and that I have formulated over the years, the times I've changed my mind, for me going from an open house philosophy to a keep the doors shut and let them wait for me to determine if they're worthy to come in kind of, feeling, that was developed in contemplative discussion like this. That's where I have formulated my opinions. So if you find value in the show and find value in meeting upon a different level with brothers that tend to inspire me, I already know all the guests that are coming to date, and every one of them are people that inspire me. They inspire me in different ways. And so if you want to be a part of that, then this is your opportunity. That being said, if oh gosh, I had something else I wanted to. Oh, if you find value, yes, becoming a Patreon or whatever it's called. I don't do that part of it. Justin does it. So if you want to, support us in that way, become part of the inner circle, I'm grateful. I appreciate all of our viewers, all of our listeners on the podcast as well. And, Justin and I don't do any of this for monetary purposes. It's nice to have to help pay for it, that's for sure. But like the reservations for this venue, all that kind of stuff, that's not coming from funds from Masonic improvement. I can assure you, that's outside money. So, this is a labor of love, and it's all for you guys. And I hope that you find the value in it that I find every week. Brothers, that's about it. I don't have a whole lot more. I'm pretty tired. I've been working on New Year's stuff and as a secretary and as a future, or as the chief elect for Knights of St. Andrew of Scottish Rite.
Quick question: is that like the equivalent of the Worshipful Master?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And this is a an invitation only body to begin with, and we are an organization. We are a service organization within the Scottish Rite. So our job is to support our valley in what they need.
Got you.
So we support the reunions. We support the temple itself, the cathedral itself, by helping with repairs and stuff like that, and cleanup days, and all the stuff that you come into a building like that and you think, wow, this is nice. Well, that's the stuff that the KSA is supposed to do, is take care of that kind of stuff. So all the things that makes it just a little bit nicer, that's our job. And so
I just saw that I could be getting 8 inches of snow on Thursday. Sorry. I just got an alarm coming through. It's like, holy crap. There's no way. Sorry, Dennis.
Whoa, wait a second. 8?
That's what it's saying. Sorry. I don't want to detract from you. You just kind of said 2 inches like an hour ago. So sorry.
Man, Jeff is probably listening saying, shut up, you pansy.
Right.
That's just another Tuesday. But yeah, so guys, I appreciate y'all coming on. I appreciate all of our listeners. I appreciate you, Justin, and I appreciate all the people that make our show possible, whether they're listeners or the people that are coming on the show for interviews and things like that. It's all good stuff. Yeah. And I am becoming a better person for it. Besides just the aspect of being a Freemason, being a part of this makes me a better person, because I have to sharpen up just to stay in the conversation. That's important to me, is to be a contributor and not someone of apathy that just sits and absorbs whatever everybody else is willing to give me.
A producer, not a consumer, right?
Yep.
Love it.
Simple as that. I appreciate all the leaders out there that are helping us get there. We're going through a new culture shift, and navigating those waters isn't easy. But y'all are doing it, and we're going to get there.
Buddy.
So with that being said, brothers, keep it between the points.